Donald Trump held a disastrous press conference with Indian Prime Minister Modi, and it once again was a total supplication to Vladimir Putin, confirming Trump is going to let him do whatever the hell he wants. Trump was asked a question that we saw Pete Hegseth asked earlier. Ukraine is being asked to make a lot of concessions here. What about Russia? Should Russia give anything up? And Trump's answer is that Russia has already suffered because it hasn't been that easy for them to win this war. Well, maybe they shouldn't have gotten into it in the first place.
To the Russia-Ukraine war, you've suggested several things that Ukraine should give up. The idea of NATO membership, territory that was seized back in 2014 by Russia. What should Russia give up?
Russia has gotten themselves into something that I think they wish they didn't. If I were president, it would not have happened. Absolutely would not have happened. And it didn't happen for 4 years. If you look at what has taken place under President Bush, they lost a lot. Under President Obama, they lost Crimea. Under Biden, it looks like they could lose the whole thing. Under Trump, they lost nothing. Ukraine lost nothing. They didn't give up anything. And you take a look at the other three presidents surrounding me, they gave up a lot.
So this is typical Trump. What is it that Russia would have to give up here to get to peace? Well, they've already given stuff up because it's been a tough war for them. Yes, an invasion that they started. Praying at the altar of Vladimir Putin. At another point during this thing, Donald Trump couldn't understand an Indian reporter. And the guy tried twice, and Trump just goes, I can't understand a word you're saying.
President, people in India will naturally welcome your decision to extradite Thakur Rana to India back home. In that context, I'd like to ask you a question about, in last few years, we have seen several groups in the U.S. raising anti-India voice, calling about separation, terrorism activities in India. Do you think that should continue here in the U.S. as well?
You're going to go louder.
Mr. President, people in India would be welcoming your decision to extradite Thakur Rana to...
I can't understand a word he's saying. It's not it's the accent.
May I?
Listen, I have two thoughts about this, right? I get telemarketing calls all the time from overseas. And it could be India, it could be the Philippines, there's all sorts of places. And I've had situations where I say, I don't know where you're calling from, what you're offering, what you're asking me. I don't know what you're saying. So on the one hand, that's a real thing. On the other hand, it's also true that yesterday was a representation of just about every day with Trump with this stuff, which is he was rude to Caitlin Collins, a female reporter, and he was rude to this guy, an Indian reporter. The theme seems to be, remember when he was rude to Weijia Jiang back during the previous administration with COVID-related stuff with regard to her being Asian and Trump calling it the Kung flu and all of this stuff. And the theme is that he's always dismissive and rude and just kind of a dick to individuals with identities that are other than white men. That's the theme. And also, listen, I understand speaking to someone and having absolutely no idea what they're talking to you. Okay, and then speaking about having no idea what they're talking about, as difficult as apparently the Indian reporter was for Trump to understand, does anyone understand this from Trump?
This is where it seems to be heading. And artificial intelligence, a very complex subject, but it seems to be where people want to be and they want to go. And we're leading right now by a lot. But other people will try to catch us. I don't know if they're going to be able to. We're going to make those are.
Is that any easier to understand than what the Indian reporter was saying? So another completely humiliating press conference, but maybe not as humiliating for the country as Robert F. Kennedy Jr. now being the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Well, I wrote a book after a long journey and a ton of work. I am really thrilled with how it turned out, and I hope you'll read it. The book is called The Echo Machine, and in a nutshell, it looks at how American politics got so broken, who has already figured out solutions and how we can try to fix it and stop the terror of Trump for the next 4 years. With Trump winning this election, the echo machine couldn't be more relevant, not only a warning about how we got here, but also about what might be coming and how to prevent the worst outcomes. We've got to stay engaged. We need a plan, and that's what the book is about. There's a belief out there that unless you have corporate media behind you, you can't have a successful political book launch, that it's not possible. I think we can prove that wrong. Order the Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, anywhere that books, ebooks, and audiobooks are sold. You can also call any local bookstore and say, please order me The Echo Machine by David Pakman. Wherever you get the book, you'll get the free pre-order perks, including the signed book plate. Head to davidpakman.com/free book stuff after ordering.